Now that you guys have your two pinch pots blended together, I just wanted to show you I've been kind of smoothing mine and getting that surface nice and good. One thing, if your piece has like bumps and it's kind of lumpy looking, what you can do is use your tool. This is called a rib, and it's used for smoothing the surface if it has like big bumps and lumps, okay? So you have to hold it really close to its edge, and it's nice because you can curve it around your piece and depending on what shape it is. And you're just going to pull towards your body, and what that is doing is scraping off a little thin layer, which is totally fine, and making it an even height so it's not bumpy and lumpy. Okay, once you have done that, then if you go back in with your finger, then you can really get a nice, smooth, clean surface. Okay, so our next step is making the bone structure, or like the underlying structure of the face. So I kind of have it narrower at the bottom, rounder up here, and now I need to figure out, okay, where are my eyes gonna be placed, which is about 1/3 down from the top of the face. You're more than welcome to kind of measure that out, but they're about 2/3 down, okay? So a way to just create the eye sockets, because every animal has a socket, and typically when you do a creature, it's gonna have some type of socket. You are going to be, I'm not forcing my thumb into this. I'm simply applying a little bit of pressure and kind of moving it around, okay? Realize the eye socket is a lot larger than the eye, so this might look kind of funny right now, but it's because I don't have an eye in there. When you get to the outside, you just kind of like pull it off to the side, and you can see the top eyebrow bone starting to shape. I'm gonna turn this towards me just so I can see it. Okay, so now I kind of have two eye sockets, and just kind of, if you want them to be very symmetrical, look at them closely. Look at the shape of the eyebrow bone, that it matches this one on this side, and then just change it accordingly, okay? Once I have that, I'm ready to start adding some of my bone structure shapes, okay? Which is a chin, an eyebrow bone, and a cheekbone. So this is the shape that I make for the cheekbone, and it kind of, I guess, looks like a 3D comma. And if you smile on your own face, you can feel your cheekbone is right below your eye socket, kind of right to the outside edge. Now that looks funny because it's not blended in yet. But the way to make that is I just make a ball with my fingers, and then one side of it I pinch so it becomes more elongated, okay? And then I don't want quite as fat of a ball here, so I kind of pinch that just a little bit flatter as well. So kind of something like that. The eyebrow bone is simply a coil that is thicker where it connects to the middle portion of the eye, or the bridge of the nose, and curves around, okay? And I will show you kind of how I did that. Kind of get it started. I started as a ball and just started smushing it. A lot of times I make the coil a little bit too big, then I just take some of that clay off of there, okay? Again, if you want it to match, you can just simply hold it up to the one you've already created to make sure that it, you know, matches. And then lastly, the chin bone. So realize that our jawline also has bones on the side here. It's not just right in the center where our chin sticks out. So it does look kind of like, if you think about football, like a chin strap. And it does go pretty close to the bottom and then out to the side, okay? And all that shape is again, I made a ball. So I got my ball, again, doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to pinch the side just like I did for the cheekbone. And I'm going to do that to the other side. So the ball that you start with might need to be a tiny bit bigger so you can stretch it out, okay? And then I'm just gonna flatten the middle just a little bit so it's not like huge right there. Continue to work on that. So that way I can get it on there. Now I wanna show you what this looks like once they get attached. So I'm gonna take the chin off of there. Obviously, anytime you add clay to clay, you want to slip and score. So I have my little slip cup here. Really good slip today. And then I'm going to scratch this one as well. When I put that on there, I'm gonna try to suction it to the piece, so meaning I kind of wiggle it just like I did with the 2 pinch pots when I attached those. And now, I'm gonna take these off for a moment. And now what I'm going to be doing is simply smoothing out all the edges. And when you do that, it is making it look more integrated, not like just a separate piece on there, and it's becoming a little bit smaller. So you might think, oh gosh, these shapes that I'm making are too big. But once they get blended in, they lose a lot of the height that they have in the thickness. And you might be like, okay, now I have it blended in, this really doesn't look big enough, especially depending on your creature or monster thing that you are making. So you might have to add more here. That goes for all of this. Like if you want really severe eyebrows, like if it comes up to an angle, you would want to angle the brow bone up. If you want the cheekbones to look really sharp, you might make this a little bit more pointed and not so rounded and curved. Okay, so I'm gonna add my cheekbone. I'm gonna scratch all over there. So the fattier part goes right up against the outside edge of the eye socket. And then the middle part, where it's skinnier, it kind of tapers in there, okay? So you're just going to be taking your finger, just like we did with the chin, and kind of blending that back in. And you might think, oh, that's gonna be way too big, but now that I have it smoothed, it's looking more like the correct size. So this is something you need to do because every creature, animal, human, monster is going to have some type of bone structure. Okay, and then lastly, obviously I would do the other side, but I'm not gonna do that for this video. I'm going to add my eyebrow bone. Okay, so just gonna scratch, and I got some slip on my tool here at the same time. And I'm gonna scratch this. Okay. The fattier part goes on the inside of the brow bone, and then it tapers off on the side. Just really think about it as an eyebrow shape. And then you really want to blend it back. Then when you blend it on the inside, just the same way. Don't want to force it too much. And you don't want a real sharp thing here unless, you know, that's the thing that you are desiring with your creature. So what I do to not make it so sharp is I just press down on that top edge once I have it kind of blended on there. So now you can see I have a nice start to a bone structure, and now I can begin thinking about what these facial features look like and where I'm going to add some more clay to really pronounce the design that I'm creating. Okay. If you are making an animal, you might even be making an extra piece here that is hollow. So, for example, like a wolf or a pig or something, you might be making a separate pinch pot that is smaller and attaches right here to make it protrude outward more, okay? So really be looking at your design, thinking about your design and how that should be sculpted. Obviously, I'll be around to help and give you some tips. All right, thank you for watching. Can't wait to see what you get.